Okay, well, so last night I just decided to rewatch Back to the Future, considering it was November 5th, and uh, I found all kinds of stuff, so I'm not going to talk long here. Um, but for starters here, it right when it begins here, this is on the news, and it talks about the plutonium theft that Doc Brown stole. But the symbol for the radiation is actually what I just talked about by the demon goddess. This demon goddess right here. Um, it actually uses that same symbol. That's where that symbol came from. And later on in the movie, they do. They're wearing the hazmat suits and all that, and it shows it again. But I mean, right off the bat, it shows a symbol that I just talked about yesterday. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. It's insane here. So 2 seconds later, it has this machine opening up the dog food and dumping it into the dog bowl. Well, I looked up Calcan, and Calcan is actually Whiskas, and it started in 1936, but in 1988, the company changed its name to Whiskas in order to promote its cat food internationally. I mean, come on now. Okay, for some reason I can't get it to load online here, but on my actual TV, uh, in a second after the dog food part, you can see a clock in the background, and the hands are literally exactly on 8 and 11. So you got an 8:11 right before Marty walks in. They dump the dog food. You see the 8:11. The can drops. The door opens. Marty comes in. So Marty comes in when the hands are exactly on the 8 and 11, and you have to maybe rent the movie or watch it somewhere else than what I can get. But I just wanted to point out, like on something that you can actually see visibly, that and Marty isn't in the house yet. So at 8:11 or 8:55 or whatever, 7:55, Marty comes in. Okay, so then right after he hooks up the amplifier and it blows him away, the phone rings and Doc Brown is on the phone, and he says that he needs Marty's help at 1:15 in the morning at Twin Valley Pines or whatever. But 1:15 is also 11:05, which is November 5th. And I would play the clips, but I'm afraid that it'll get denied for copyright, so I'm not. I'm just gonna kind of go through the movie and stop it, and then explain a little bit about it. So then all the alarm clocks go off, and Marty realizes the doc set him 25 minutes slow. So Marty takes off because he's late for school, and he goes and he grabs onto these cars, and he goes down this road, and then they turn right, and right here, look what you got. You got Highway 8. And then you got a 395. I talked about 95s. But highway, or it's Route 8 actually. I even looked it up here and I'll show you. Okay, so right here it shows you U.S. Route 395 was a highway that passed through downtown Hill Valley, California, in the movie, and it passed east-west through town and into Courthouse Square, where it intersected with U.S. Route 8. So it is U.S. Route 8. Now, check out this. You cannot make this up. I mean, you can't make it up. U.S. Route 8. Check out when it was originally commissioned. November 11th, 1926. So, 11/11, 1926. So, on November 11th of this year, it will be 88 years ago. Then when they get to the end of this street, there's a church here and all that. But then it says Elmo's. I'm assuming it says Elmo's. It does say Elmo as far as I can see. And it's red and yellow, so you associate it with Elmo, the doll. But when I looked up Elmo didn't actually come out until 1985. It was actually called Baby Monster before 1985. So I don't know if that's a movie blooper or what. But what's interesting about Elmo is that when his first appearance as Elmo was November 18th, 1985. So you have your 11/8 again. Another significant thing is November 18th is actually the 322nd day of the year. So 322? I mean, come on. You can't make it up. Okay, so Marty is in a band called the Pinheads, and that just reminded me of the Georgia Guidestones, because I talked about Jam and Eminem, and maybe somebody else has this posted, but I completely just, I don't know, maybe I read it and that's why I'm thinking of it again. I don't know, but MM could actually stand for Marty McFly Jam. And so, I mean, when I think of Back to the Future, I always think of the part where he plays the Johnny Be Good song. And so the Johnny Be Good is actually by this guy, Chuck Berry, who just so happened to have just turned 88 years old this year on October 18th. So just read a little bit here about Marty McFly. It says, little is known about Marty's life prior to Back to the Future, except for the fact that he set fire to the living room rug when he was 8 years old. Then it also says here, Marty plays guitar with his group, the Pinheads, and likes listening to Huey Lewis and the News. And the theme song for the movie is The Power of Love by Huey Lewis and the News. And they even cover it when they try out for the thing here in the beginning of the movie. Anyway, when I think of Pinheads, I think of the movie Hellraiser. And this Hellraiser 2 came out in 1988. And this movie here, the main character is Claire Higgins, and she will be 59 years old on Monday, which is also my birthday. But she was born in 55 and will be 59 years old. And then right here you have the business called The Third, and then it's a pyramid with an eye on it. So the third eye. I mean, and then the all-seeing eye. Crazy stuff. So then you get to see the DeLorean for the first time. And the DeLorean, actually they made it back in 1981, and then they started making it again in 2008. And the DeLorean was created by this guy. And it says here, he was the youngest division head in General Motors history. DeLorean broke away to start his own company, DeLorean Motor Company, in 1973. Then down here also it says on October 26, 1982, DeLorean was arrested on drug charges of drug trafficking, blah, 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 blah. But it's funny that it's October 26th, and that is the day that they leave, October 20 on. They time travel from. It's October 26, 1985. So I wonder if they did that because of this guy going to jail for that or being arrested for that. And then Doc gets out of the DeLorean, and right before Marty starts filming, he points at his outfit and he says, Doc, is that a Devo outfit? And I'm assuming he's referring to the band Devo, because, I mean, they wear outfits similar to that. They also came out in 1973. And they actually stand for the de-evolution of mankind. That's what the band is named after. So then Marty films for the first time here, and the doc says it's the first experiment, and he says October 26, 1985, 1:18 a.m. So there's your 11:8 again. All right, and before I go any farther, I wanted to show that Devo had an album out in 1988 called Total Devo. And the cover has an 8 on it. Alright, and so here he's showing his dog Einstein, who actually is the first to travel in time ever. So that makes me wonder if, like, Albert Einstein had anything to do with time travel, and if maybe he was the first and that's a reference to him or something, or I don't know. It just makes me curious, I guess. Anyway, though, he's showing the two clocks here, one on Einstein and then his own, to prove that, like, he travels through time. So you got your 11:8 references again, but then as he's explaining it, it changes over to 11:9, which is you got your 9/11 reference. Then it switches while he's still talking, and then it shows 11:9. So then he shows that he did time travel, and you can't see it here because the stupid plaything's in the way, but it says Einstein's clock is 122 and his is 121. So they got a 121, and also, isn't it 1.21 gigawatts to make the flux capacitor work. I don't know. I just thought that was kind of interesting. He comes back from time travel, and then it's also at 121. It's also 1.21 gigawatts. So then I had talked in my previous video about how they travel back to November 5th, 1955, which is 59 years ago. And then you got so it'd be 11,555, and the fives, 3 5s equal a 6, and then 3 sets equal a 666. I made a video before, so I'm not going to really talk about it, but yeah, I just wanted to point that out, that's on this part right here. And it was the day that Doc Brown invented time travel. And he also, a little bit later, he talks about how he remembers the day, and he was standing up on the toilet, hanging something up, I think, and he slipped and fell and hit his head, and when he woke up, he thought of the flux capacitor. And I just think that's kind of funny because, so I mean, it kind of makes it seem like he invented time travel when he was high on pot because he was standing on the toilet and he fell. I don't know. It's just kind of funny to me. And then I seen some videos where people compared this to Ebola because he pulls this, they're wearing the hazmat suits, and he pulls this vial out that looks like blood, and that's what he puts in the car. I just wanted to point that out. I've seen it on other videos. You can research it and check it out a little bit. And then the doc says that he's going to travel 25 years into the future. So, and then he says something about see how mankind has evolved or whatever. And I just talked about Devo and the Devo suit. But anyway, regardless, he says something about how he gets to see who wins the next 25 World Series. So 1985 to 2010 would be 25 years. And in 2010, the San Francisco Giants won the World Series. And they also won it this year as well. But that's just kind of strange. Also, I'm just going to throw it in there really quick. The doc says he's almost forgot his plutonium because that's what he needs to get back. And if you go to plutonium here and you read about it, it says the standard atomic weight is 244. So that is another 88. Now, I could be wrong here, but so when Marty gets in the DeLorean and he's running from the Libyans, right when he says, see if you bastards can go 90, they show a speedometer, and I'm pretty sure this is the miles that are on the car, and this is like the trip miles. I mean, I could be wrong, but that's the trip miles, so it's 8 miles that they've used the car since I don't know when, but it's just kind of weird that it says 8 miles on there. And like I said, I could be wrong, but I'm assuming that's what it is. That's what it is on my car anyway. Also, so the base on all these digital lights, like clocks and everything else, the base is an 8. I don't know if you've ever noticed that, but I mean, the 8 must make every number work. But I just find that crazy that, I mean, it's all about 8s and whatnot. And then, I mean, look at all these 8s here. You don't even realize that how many 8s they actually show you on this video. I mean, you just never think about that, I guess, until you actually really think about it. So this is just I'm just throwing this out there anyway. There's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10, 20, 30. So there's 38s right here when the starter dies. So 30 years after 1985 is 2015. So, I mean, who knows? Maybe that has something to do with something. Just throwing that out there. While Marty's trying to get the car started, another thing starts beeping, the plutonium chamber, and it says empty, but it's, I mean, 0, 20, 40, 60, 80. I don't know. That could maybe be an 88, but what I'm trying to get at is it says Rontgens. And I mean, one of my first videos, I guess, I made about the letter X and X-rays and Rontgen rays. That's what this is from. I find that interesting, that's all. It's stuff I never noticed before, and that's why I'm pointing it out.